different applications of PACE. Whatever we have covered in the class, don't show that. Okay.
Yes, sir. Is
Okay,
the slide
fine.
visible?
Yeah.
Yes.
Very good. Yeah.
Yes, sir. In the previous class, we have already discussed about the functional units of the PACE style and their components, which component do what job. So we will skip in this today's class. We will move to the benefits of the PACE. So the first benefit, in a decentralization, there is a problem of impersonation. That is, impersonation is when someone pretends to be another person. Here in this example, in the right side, we can see A is saying I am A and B is also saying I am A. So we know that B is pretending to be A to C. Since all external communication in PACE is constant to communication layer, it offers a single point which impersonation can be detected. It means that we have a communication layer in the PACE architectural style where all communications are handled. So impersonation can be detected in this communication layer. How? If a malicious peer tries to impersonate a user without the correct private key or does not digitally sign the message, can be easily detected by verifying signature with the help of signature manager or key manager. Here in this example, A sends a message that I am A to C, which is digitally signed by A. So C now can verify whether the digitally signed is uh, is of A or of any other person. Whereas in case of B, he sends that I am A, but it is not digitally signed by A. So C can know that that the message sent by B that I am A is false one. So the B is acting like a malicious peer.
What it is being done in the architecture level, what it is being done in the architecture. Go back to the architecture and tell that these are the
Yes, sir.
yeah, what it is being done in the architecture level, PACE architecture, how does it detects that? Yeah.
Yes, sir. Here we can see
Yeah.
in communication layer there is a signature manager. Signature manager digitally signs the messages that it sends to other peer or checks the requests that are sent by other peers whether they are digitally signed or not with the help of key manager. Key manager maintains a directory of key pairs, that is public and private keys. So when the A tries to send a message to C that I am A, so here the signature manager verifies that the digital sign of the message is of A or not. If it is of A, then the C can know that.
Okay. Next after impersonation. Okay, so this then you go back to this architecture. Yeah, show some architecture. Yeah. After this impersonation, fraudulent
action. Since PACE is designed for open decentralized architecture, there is little that can be done to prevent entry of malicious user. Since in an open decentralized system, there can be any peer can join and leave at any time. So there is a little that can be done to prevent it. Moreover, in PACE architectural style, here we can see the PACE framework does not provide implementation of these application components and expects the application developer to select suitable implementation. That is, PACE does not provide any guideline to implement the application layer. So it all depends upon the developer. So malicious action can be detected by application layer and low trust value can be assigned to those peers. So there is the malicious action can be detected by the application layer. For example, if a peer sends a exe file of suppose a peer C requested peer A to give me a Microsoft Office exe file, but the peer A sent some other kind of exe file. So it's all depends on the application layer. That is the developer who developed the application layer to implement some security measures such as like scanning the file before opening it or any other. So it's all depend upon the developer. So fraudulent action is can be can only be checked by application layer. If any fraudulent action is detected, it wants other peers also. Now, misrepresenting trust. Since PACE facilitates explicit communication of trust values of others. For example, here, if Alice publishes that she distrusts Bob, then Carol can use the information to determine if she should trust Bob's published trust relationships. Here in trust layer, we can see the trust manager is responsible for computing the trust values. So there are various algorithms which are implemented in trust manager to compute the trust values. So here in this example, Alice says that the trust value for B is Bob. B means TB means trust value of Bob is 0.2. Whereas Bob also says that the trust value of Alice is 0.2. So how would Carol know which one is telling the truth? So Carol looks at his own trust values that it is present in the internal storage. That is, he sees that trust value of A is 0.8 and trust value of B is 0.4. So when comparing the trust value of Alice and Bob, Carol knows that trust value of A is higher. So he will believe the trust value given by the Alice, that is trust value of B is 0.2. That is, Bob is not trustful, and accordingly proceed further. Collusion. Collusion is of a greater concern than a single peer misrepresenting trust, because malicious peers are working in concert to confuse. Here it says that just like this misrepresentation of trust, there is involvement of a single user. But in collusion, a group of people try to misrepresent the trust. So it is very difficult to identify, since multiple peers are telling that people are telling that Alice is untrustful. So how Carol will know that that since Carol has high trust values for Alice, but since multiple people are saying that Alice is untrustful, then that creates a confusion. So in PACE, the ability of PACE to detect impersonation allows collusion to be effectively addressed. So how the PACE detects collusion or reduces the effect of collusion? By detecting impersonation. For just like here I said that B is impersonating as A, or B sending the message is not digitally signed. So when a group of peers sends that Alice is not trustful, so it checks the messages which are digitally signed or not. If it is not digitally signed, it discards those messages. So the group of malicious peers become reduced in size. Another problem with that is denial of service. That is, incorrectly found messages can be disposed of by the protocol handler in communication layer. For example, we know that in a the size of a packet is fixed for any type of protocol. For example, in TCP, we can send a maximum of 65,000 bytes. So when a message is sent, when a packet size is bigger than 65,000, so that packets are automatically dropped by PACE. Well-formed messages can be managed by introducing rate limit, that is reducing the rate of messages from other peers. For example, here we can see that A is sending request continuously, that is 100 packets per second, which reduces the efficiency of the B, or this service provider B is reduced, because it is going to handle those requests continuously. So in PACE, it reduces that by applying some rate limit. That is, it reduces from 100 packets to 10 packets per second. That is, now the B has to process only 10 requests or 10 packets in a second. Here we are going to see how a auction in decentralized system takes place using PACE. Here we have here there are three peers: Bob, Carol, and Alice. And Bob advertises to Carol and Alice that it has some units that it wants to sell. So Bob advertises to Carol as well as to Alice. Then Alice sends his or her bidding price to Bob, and Carol also as well as send her bidding price to Bob. Now Bob has to decide whether to sell those units to Carol or to Alice by looking at its trust value. Bob trusts Alice and its value is 0.4. Now Bob also trusts Carol, but its trust value is 0.8. Similarly, the trust value of Alice for Bob is 0.8 and Carol for Bob is 0.8. So while comparing the trust values, Bob sees that the trust value for Carol is higher. So Bob decides to sell the units to Carol, although bidding price of Alice is high. While the PACE stands for practical application for composing egocentric application. Why egocentric? Egocentric means thinking only of oneself without regard for feeling of others. In a decentralized system, in is one which requires multiple parties or peers to make their own independent decision. That is, in a decentralized system, each peer has to take his or her independent decision. The independent decision taken by or the autonomous decision taken by individual may possibly conflict with those of other peers. So it is called as egocentric. Here we can see that although here Bob can also sell this advertised unit to Alice since bidding price is higher, but it depends upon Bob whom to sell. If you want to use the trust value as a comparator to and sells to Carol, or use the bidding price. If he wants to get more profit, he can sell it to Alice. So it depends upon the Bob. So this is where the ego or egocentrism comes into place. Thank you.
Okay. Anything else?
No, sir.
That's all? Mhm.
Yes, sir.
I told not to write thank you. Thank you is only you should thank who asked you a good question. The last slide should be any questions, please, so that I can upgrade myself. I can improve my knowledge. Never say thank you to anybody who doesn't ask you to, who doesn't help you to improve your knowledge. It should be any questions, please. It's not a common seminar. It's an evaluation process. How good you are in your studies. Okay. Anybody from the audience? Anybody on PACE architecture? Any example? Any other example where it has been applied? Ingole, Subham Ingole.
Yes, sir.
Yes, just see how this egocentric architecture helps. This is a particular style of architecture to meet the security parameters, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. For trust management in decentralized systems.
But yeah, the security man. Yeah.
Yes.
Any application did you check, Nirmal? Any other paper did you get in PACE, application of PACE?
No, sir.
No.
I have looked at 3 research papers, but in everything, only the security part is only given. How PACE helps in the security part in a decentralized system.
In fact, this is the architecture developed by the authors, this Taylor. The book was written by Taylor. That group, Taylor.
Yes, I have also
Medved.
looked in the book,
Yeah.
but there is also given about this much only.
Yeah. Then I wanted to know something from some other person who have applied this PACE architecture. This space architecture was developed by this group, Taylor, Medvedev, Dubik, Dassofi, the author of this book. Software architecture book. There are three authors. They have developed this architecture, space architecture. I wanted that you should search something whether any other person other than this Taylor's group has used this space architecture or not. That's all I was interested to know. Anyway, okay. We'll stop. Okay, you didn't find anything. No other author has used. No other author has used this space architecture for any other purpose, right?
Yes, sir.
Other than this Taylor group, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. It didn't become much popular. It seems it didn't become much popular. Yeah. Okay. Chandrakant, come. Chandrakant has got a very important architecture. WhatsApp. So give a good presentation so that everybody will be happy. Yes. Use a pointer properly. This is a very common software being used by everybody. Yeah. Come.
Is it visible?
Yeah. Very good. Nice.
Okay. Today we will start WhatsApp architecture.
Okay.
What is WhatsApp? We will look into the introduction. WhatsApp Messenger is
Okay.
a cross-platform instant application that allows iPhone, the BlackBerry, and Windows Phone and other smartphone users to exchange text, emails, video, and audio messages for free. Basically, it's a messaging platform application which allows almost every software to, to that can be used on. So that's why it's very popular. WhatsApp is especially popular with end users who do not have unlimited text messaging. Okay, we can use unlimited message without paying for it. We just need connectivity, internet connectivity. Technically speaking, WhatsApp uses a customized version of the Open Standard Extensible Messaging and Presence Protocol. In short form, we call it XMPP. We will look at what the architecture used in XMPP in the very coming slides. The word is an open source Java facility that can transfer messages between two or more users at any point of time, providing an internet connection is feasible. If the internet connection is feasible, then the application will work very. That's all what it means. Now, this is the architecture you can see XMPP server XMPP.
What is that Jabber
how it is,
facility?
with
What is
clients.
that Jabber? What is that Jabber
I will-
facility?
I will explain it in coming slides.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Uh, Hello.
Yes, go ahead. No,
Lighting.
next slide. Change the slide.
Okay. Yes, sir. Sorry, sir. I
Yeah.
have to tell about the architecture of XMPP, sir. Okay. In this architecture, you can see the scheduler has double linked list that stores the scheduler. The scheduler has the double linked list. Okay. Hello. Can you
Yes,
listen,
go ahead.
everyone? In this architecture, the scheduler has double linked list that stores the ticket in FIFO order and checks the database for new requests. Avoids duplicate with creation of action tickets. Okay. Data fetcher thread are responsible for establishing data fetcher. Data fetcher threads are responsible for establishing the XMPP server connection. Get the data from the node, and in the end, it sends the received value to the stored in the Mencia database. There is database. You can see the database used in the WhatsApp. We call it Mencia. Yeah, I don't know the correct. Action threads consume the action tickets and with the information based on the tickets will verify if the rule are matching or not, thereby further processing the tickets for action. Database handler is a thread that has specific functionality connecting to database and handling queries. Uh, okay. The programming language used in WhatsApp is Erlang that helps quickly adapt instant updates and hotfixes. The programming language which WhatsApp uses, we call it Erlang. It has some features. We will discuss those features in slides. In brief, I just give you overview here. Okay. WhatsApp has chosen Erlang language built for writing scalable applications that are designed to withstand errors. Erlang uses an abstraction called actor model for its concurrency. Instead of the more traditional shared memory approach, actors communicate by sending each other's messages. Uh, in WhatsApp, we call every user as an actor. I will show you through a diagram in coming slide. Okay. Actors, unlike thread, are designed to be lightweight. Actor could be on the same machine or on different machine, and the message passing abstraction works or both. Now we will look
Chandrakant,
at some of the reasons. Yes,
Chandrakant,
yes,
hello. Is
yes,
this
yes,
the architecture of hello?
yes. I'm listening.
Is this the architecture of WhatsApp?
No, this is not the structure of WhatsApp. I'm just showing you the XMPP about the server. We will discuss the WhatsApp architecture in coming slides. How the messaging server works and other things. How we create process and buffer it. How if client is connected to that server, how will it store data and all. We will discuss in upcoming slides. I'm showing you the XMPP server. Just showing you overview of this server. Is it okay? Can I move
Okay.
further?
Any slide you are showing, the slide should have some name. Otherwise, Abhishek got confused whether this is the architecture of WhatsApp or some other architecture. You should write the caption properly. The name of the drawing you are showing, the name of the diagram, you should write it clearly so that this confusion should not come up.
Because sir,
Actually,
this
sir,
is the architecture, MBC architecture. This architecture
Uh-huh.
showing is MBC architecture, and MBC architecture is generally follows for web application, and WhatsApp is not a web application. So I ask in the question.
Yeah.
no, that's not that.
So your diagram is not that clear also. You should make bigger size, fonts are very small, not able to read properly, and you should write the caption. The caption means the name of the architecture, what the architecture tells, the figure name. Every figure should have a name. So this is again, this is not the WhatsApp architecture, rather this is the architecture for
Web
this is the architecture for
XMPP I'm showing. I'm talking about
SMPP.
Yes, sir, XMPP. External messaging and presence protocol. We will now we will look at some of the reason what makes WhatsApp very famous. WhatsApp was first. Actually, WhatsApp was one of the. I think it was the first messaging. It was in 2009 alongside Skype, whereas Skype was online calling. Was online calling, pre-calling app, and WhatsApp was messaging app. Sorry. After it killed SMS. After introduced WhatsApp into the people, people stop using SMS as SMS was charging them cost to the people, and whereas people found that WhatsApp is also a good platform where we can use it as to inform the other person or to give any important messages. So people started using WhatsApp and they stopped using SMS. Okay, WhatsApp identify is your phone number. WhatsApp gives an proper identification by giving your phone number as people will know your that it's you by seeing your phone number. When you send message to someone, they will check that okay, this is the number I'm getting the message from, and he's that guy. He will recognize you, or whatever the person is will recognize you. Make it also. It works on most platforms. Okay, this is what I have already told that WhatsApp is famous because it can be used on any platform. It can be run on any platform, not any, but almost all the platforms. And so it says that WhatsApp is all about mobility. Okay, by name we all can understand what it is. Time advantage. It is very fast messaging services. We will another slide. Implementation. How we implement what? Each user.
So you change the slide.
device
Why are you showing that slide number 3? You change it.
Yes, sir. I'm changing, sir.
Yeah, why
I'm on slide.
keeping on?
I'm on slide 6, sir. Now. Can you see?
Now it is showing slide 3 only.
Sir, I'm on.
No,
6,
sir, it's
now.
showing 6 only, sir.
6 only.
showing
In my
6
case,
only,
why?
6, sir.
In my case, why it is showing 3? I don't know. In my case, I am seeing slide 3. Acha, what happened with me?
It's showing 5
All
only,
are
sir.
seeing slide
Maybe-
6.
Sir, now it's showing 5.
Now it's showing 5.
Not
But
properly
I am
visible.
seeing, now I saw slide 6 implementation.
Yes, sir.
I am seeing slide 6 implementation, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, I'm on slide 6.
Go back to slide 5. Go back.
Yes, sir. Slide 5, sir.
Go
Is
back.
it visible, sir?
Slide 5.
No, sir.
Yes, sir.
So,
No.
Slide
6 is
4, sir.
visible.
No. कुछ problem है चंद्रकांत का. Slide 5 is not visible. I am in slide 6.
Yes, sir. I am also in 6.
इंगोले भैया अभी तुम्हारा.
Now I move to
Sir, I'm
slide
also in
4,
six.
sir.
Sir, it's
I am in slide 6. Go back to slide 5.
Yes, sir. I am already on slide 5, sir.
It is
Actually,
not
sir-
yet. Not yet.
एक्चुअली सर चंद्रकांत का सर वो बैंडविथ इशू है. वो अगर स्लाइड शेयर कर रहा है तो वो सर वॉइस के कारण स्लाइड चेंज नहीं हो रहा है सर. अगर कोई
अच्छा.
दूसरा कोई सर स्लाइड शेयर करता है तो हो जाएगा सर.
अच्छा अच्छा. So you give it to Pratik. You send to Pratik. Pratik will change it. अभी ये चंद्रकांत you send to Pratik.
Okay, sir. I am sending it to
You will start sharing.
Okay.
उसका bandwidth problem है. अच्छा.
Yes, sir. I will download it, sir, first.
Yeah, you share it. Okay.
Send on WhatsApp, Chandrakant.
Yes, I'm sending. Did you get Pratik
Yeah, where you have sent?
on WhatsApp?
Okay, it's taking time. little bit.
This is the problem with the online classes. At some locations, the bandwidth is so less. So that's the problem.
Yeah, now I
The weather
Yeah, I got-
is foggy.
Okay, sir. Sir,
Okay.
I'm going to present it, sir.
Yeah. You just share it, he will explain it. Okay. Okay.
Is it visible?
Yeah. Very nice. Next slide 2. Next slide. Okay.
Is
This
it
picture
clearly
is
visible or?
it's clearly visible. It's clearly visible. Okay. Slide 4. Okay. Next. Okay. Go ahead.
Chandrakant, on which slide I have to make?
You come to 6.
Go to slide 6.
Okay. Is it visible?
Okay. Yes. Go ahead. Chandrakant.
Yes, sir. We will look into implementation. Each user
You
device
see,
is represented.
you should have shown this. What is an actor? You should have brought a diagram. Do you have a diagram?
Yes, sir.
User?
Yes, sir. Prateek, move to slide 7. Prateek. Hello,
Acha.
Prateek.
Yeah.
Visible? I moved.
Yeah.
Yeah.
तुम्हारा
Yes,
फॉन्ट
sir.
इतना बड़ा जगह है, फॉन्ट कितना छोटा है चंद्रकांत देखो, फॉन्ट कितना छोटा तुमने रखा है बॉक्स का अंदर, पढ़ने के लिए कितना डिफिकल्ट होगी. फॉन्ट इतना जगह तो बड़ी है, फॉन्ट क्यों तुमने छोटा किया?
Sir, actually it is the image.
It was just supposed to say. Yes, sir.
Actually,
it was just supposed to tell you. It was just supposed to tell you that these are the contacts. Not the name. Names are not important.
अच्छा, जो important, non-important, the audience decides, not the speaker decides. You present it with proper clarity. It is not your decision. It is the decision of the audience who is sitting in the other side. So your clarity in the presentation should be there. Everything should be readable. Font size 22. Font size 22. ये copy paste की बीमारी छोड़ दो. ये copy paste की बीमारी से थप्पड़ खाते हो. Audience is the decision maker, not the speaker. You are presenting something for the benefit of the audience. पेड़ लगाते हो तो फल दूसरा लोग का ऊपर डिपेंड करता है, हाउ स्वीट और ठीक है कि खराब है. So you should present it properly so that things becomes more clear. अच्छा, actor कौन है? ये user. User is the actor, right?
Yes, sir. Yes.
हाँ.
Yes.
तो क्या हुआ?
Okay. Move to slide 6.
Got 6.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. As I said, sir, each user device is represented as an actor. The actor is responsible for handling the inbox of the user, how it gets serialized to this, the messages that the user sends and messages that the user receives. WhatsApp is an application that is able to handle approximately 50 billion messages transferred a day. We already know that WhatsApp is billion network. It handles approximately 50 billion messages in a day. The main reason behind its popularity is the data processing of the messages queue length, which is associated with a node, is being monitored. We will look into the queue in coming coming slides, how a queue manages the messages with the with the databases of the client, and we will look further. In case of multimedia messages, the content are uploaded into a HTTP server. In WhatsApp, when we send media messages to another person, we actually don't send the media directly to the person. we actually send something, the link of we send something and it gets uploaded in the HTTP server. And when we send it to other person, the link of that server goes to the other person. And when that person tries to open that media, he connects to that HTTP server and he directly downloads it from there. So I will show you the architecture, how it works in the coming slides. WhatsApp utilizes that XMPP protocol where the queue is maintained and the new message will wait till queue is received by the receiver node. The notification is received by the sender when the message is received by the receiver. After the delivery of the messages are immediately removed from the server. When the first client receives the messages are removed from the server because we don't want to overload the server as it is already maintaining a lots of messages. So, move to slide 7.
Is it visible?
Take-
I'm on 7.
Yeah.
Okay, you have already seen that the users are the actor are called as actor. See how he is connecting to the WhatsApp. WhatsApp is connected to the server contact list and right.
Is it visible?
Yes, yes,
Please
yes.
give transition. I have added transitions to the slides. Please, Pratik, you add those transitions.
What I
Okay. Animation. I have given some animation. I mean,
so what I need to do?
I'm asking you to give animation.
Give
Transitions when you
animation.
change. No. When we change the slide, it should come with some style transitions.
Okay, but
Yes.
yeah, transition are coming, means animation is coming here. I don't know is it visible or not.
Which one? Which
Okay,
one is slide 8?
Yes, sir. On
Yes,
every slide
change,
he have
seven.
he gave a transition, means animation on
Acha.
every single slide.
But they are not getting reflected. I think they are not coming. I think.
Yes, sir. Because of bandwidth, I think.
ओके नहीं, प्रेजेंटेशन आपकी मेरे को पसंद नहीं लग रहा है. आई डोंट फील सेटिस्फाइड. जैसे ये राहुल, ऋषभ, प्रतीक का प्रेजेंटेशन, ये इसका साथ मैंने कंपैरेबल होना मांगता था. आई वांटेड ए कंपैरिजन ऑफ राहुल, न्यूटेला, ऋषभ.
Lot of slides left.
देखिए जरा
lot of
नेक्स्ट जाओ
slides
तो,
are left.
नेक्स्ट जाओ. अदरवाइज विल क्लोज. मेरे को पसंद नहीं लग रहा है. आई एम नॉट. नेक्स्ट 9 को जाओ. लेट मी सी 9. व्हाट यू से? यस. बोलो बोलो बोलो. अरे बाबू एक्सप्लेन करो क्या सर्वर क्या कर रहा है. या
Slide 8. Go to slide 8. Pratik.
slide 8.
I'm on it.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. We will talk how communication works. Okay. When two clients, just suppose two clients are A and B, want to communicate or send messages to each other, they first know the address of each other and they exchange the messages with each other over a network. In this case, it is internet. Okay. This is what happens when only two clients are there and they are communicating with each other. But what if the network is very big and number of clients are billions or millions? Okay, change the slide.
I see. I've changed.
Okay.
Hello.
Yes.
Yes.
Go. Yeah.
Yeah.
Slide 9. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm on 9.
Okay. If the network is very large, it is very difficult to know the address of each and every client. In this case, to make this system more robust and highly available, we need a component between the clients and server. here we can see that we have introduced a server between all the clients. A, B, C, D, E, F are the clients. We have introduced a server to deal with the large number of users. The task of server is to coordinate between all the clients and connect it to it. The server coordinates all the clients and manages their message. After the introduction of server, all clients, instead of making connection with each other, they make connection with server. Okay, now these clients directly don't make connection with other clients. They make connection with the server. In this scenario, when a client A want to send message to client B, it first sends the message to the server, and the server knows the address of other client. Then it forwards the message to the other client and vice versa. Okay, change the slide.
I'm on 10.
Now we will look how those things. Before we do it, it is really important to understand some important like user.
Hello.
Here are some of the features of the WhatsApp. We need to focus on by keeping these things in the mind, and those are using media support, last seen message encryption, telephonic service. Okay, move to the slide 12.
I'm on 12.
Okay. Okay. To which server the client upon the user, we need multiple servers to handle much traffic. So instead of one server, we place multiple servers. Okay, we said that we introduce servers between the clients, but a single server will need to be enough to manage those clients. So we introduce multiple.
Chandrakant has got
But
a
when
severe bandwidth problem, it seems. Yeah. Mm.
okay, and we sir, can you listen?
Yeah, yeah. Go ahead, but not very clear. Your voice is not very clear. Mm.
Sir, when okay, we have introduced multiple servers, but here we get another problem. To which server the client will connect, as there are multiple servers, and the clients cannot connect randomly to any server. To overcome this issue, we introduce a load balancer between the client and the server. Move to the here we can see that between server and the client we have introduced a load balancer. Okay, and this load balancer decides that which this client has to connect it to which server. The task of this load balancer is that. Okay. In the next slide, move to the next slide. Okay. After implementing multiple servers and load balancer, our system architecture user base. Now, when a client wants to connect to the server, the connection request first hits the load. First, it's a load balancer, and then the load balancer reflects the connection to a server based on various parameters like load and individual servers, etc. But our application also needs some storage. Here we can see that we have introduced, I have a database after our messaging server. What is this database is for? I'm telling you. But our application also needs some storage mechanism to save some arbitrary state or data to fulfill this requirement. We also added database which is accessible to all the servers. Okay, this database can be used by all the servers which are available, which are in WhatsApp. Okay, move to the slide 14. What type of connection we use in WhatsApp? Generally, this kind of system uses a duplex connection or bidirectional connection, as the message can also be generated from the server. So bidirectional communication is required. Before moving ahead, let's understand different connectivity scenario and how the application works. Okay, we'll look into the different connectivity. Let's move to the next slide. Hello.
Yeah, I'm on 15.
Okay. Okay. Here we can see that this diagram shows that when the sender is connected to server but not the receiver, what happens in this case? In this case, when the receiver is not connected to the server, the message is stored in the database. And when the receiver connects to the server, the message is fetched from the database and forwarded to the receiver. Move to the next slide.
Yeah, I
Uh,
changed.
Okay. When sender is not connected to the server. Okay. Just suppose I'm sending some messages and somehow my connection with the connectivity is lost. So what happens in that case? In that case, when sender is not connected to the server, the message sent by the sender is saved in the device local storage. It may be SQLite or anything else based on the platform. And when the sender goes online or connects to the server, the message is fetched in the local storage and sent to the server. Okay, what happens in this case? In this case, when we send messages and we are not connected to the internet, our messages gets stored in the local internet. And when we connect to the internet, the where the place where it is being stored, it goes directly from there to the server. Move to the next slide.
I changed.
When both clients are connected, in this case, when both clients are connected to the server. In this case, when both the clients are connected to the server, the sender sends the message and the server forwards that message to the receiver without storing the messages to the database or device storage. Okay. This is how these three scenarios that can happen due to connectivity. I told you when sender is connected and sender is not connected. So now we will look into the more depth. Take hello. Take move to the next slide. Okay, we will see here how send, delivered, and seen works. Okay. Here we can see sent is shown like this, delivered is shown with two double ticks, and seen is shown with double tick with blue double tick. Okay.
These are the features, Chandrakant. These are the features.
When this message is for the WhatsApp server, we call it message sent. Delivered. When the message is delivered to the receiver from the WhatsApp server, we call it delivered. When the message is seen, opened by the receiver, we call it seen. To inappropriate of all these status change, every message has a unique ID to identify each message and acknowledgement from the previous event. Move to next slide.
Okay, I'm not very happy, Chandrakant. I want to see an architecture. These are all the features of WhatsApp. Architecture. I'm not very happy. This one, you mean this one? This is not the architecture.
Go to the slide 20, sir. See?
20, this one?
Sir, here we can see that the messaging server has, when we send messages in the messaging server, we get process with thread. It is called thread, sir. Actually, it's very light in weight. And with that thread, there is a green arrow. We can see, sir, green arrow. It is called, sir, queue, where the messages which are in queue are stored.
This doesn't work. You know, Pratik changes and he tells some slide and this doesn't work properly. Hmm.
Is it not possible?
It's not. I wanted some sort of architecture like Google, like Skype, some sort of architecture. But I'm not very much happy. Like Google, like we have seen, I think, in the very first class, I think somebody presented on Google, right? Google, then we saw Skype, and the architecture, how architecture is designed for different software, Nutella, we saw for the Napster. So I wanted that type of in Skype, that node, super node, something I expected something, but somehow I didn't get. Okay, that's all. Okay, I'm not, and that also bandwidth problem with Chandrakant. Okay, Pratik, close it. Andrila,
Yes, sir.
I think your turn now. It is 5:10, it is 5:11, start. Andrila, how did you get any good paper on this, Dodaf and Togaf? Any other paper?
Yes, sir, I got, but for DODAF, it is a very higher level, I mean, very in-depth explanation is there. So for beginners like us, that might not be very helpful because DODAF is mainly used for defense purpose, right? So it's all complicated terms. So I've tried to present.
But I think now the software architectures are following this DOGAF and TOGAF architecture. TCS
Yes,
people have started
TOGAF is
working on it.
used. I mean, TOGAF framework is very much used
Yeah.
for developing architecture.
In developing architecture. That's what I wanted that you should explain. How
Yes.
TOGAF helps in developing architecture, how does it help? Yeah.
Sir, there is also certification for TOGAF, sir.
Yes, sir.
That-
There are courses like certifications for learning TOGAF, like
yeah,
11
yeah.
certifications can be done.
In fact, I was interested to call a person from TCS, Bhubaneswar, he is head of Bhubaneswar, to give a one-day lecture on TOGAF. I was interested. After you return, I will call him. I have talked with him. So in TCS, they are applying TOGAF in Bhubaneswar Center. Anyway, you tell. Be brief and rather highlight on the important architecture framework of DODA and TOGAF. Okay, start.
Okay, so what is DODAF and
Yeah, start.
DODAF? The full form is Department of Defense Architecture Framework, and Open Group Architecture Framework stands for TOGAF. So what are these basically? These are not architectures. So till now we have seen many of us have presented on architecture, but these are not architectures. These are architecture frameworks. Okay, so we'll get into the definition of architecture framework. But for introduction, DODAF is used mainly for the United States Department of Defense, and TOGAF, it is used for mainly for enterprise architecture. It is for business architectures, for developing architectures. The Open Group claims that it was developed by the Open Group, and they claim that TOGAF is employed by 60% of Fortune 500 companies. So you can understand that it is very much a popular framework for developing any architecture. So what is an architecture framework? An architecture framework defines how to create and use an architecture. So basically a framework defines the standards that we should follow for developing an architecture. We have seen like in networking, like for developing any networking software, we have to follow lots of protocols, right? We have seen. So this is not exactly the same, but a similar kind of derivation we can bring, like the standards are set which we should follow for developing any good architecture. Okay, the standards which should be followed, then the rules which should be followed, the set of practices which should be done for developing a good architecture. So that is what is defined by an architecture framework. It structures architects' thinking by dividing the architecture description into views and offers models for documenting each view. Okay, so an architecture for different people, it can be from different perspectives. So we will come into this later in details in the next slides. So for now, we can see Dodov meta model. It has 3 views: system views, technical views, and operation views. We'll get into the details after this. What are models, views, and viewpoints? Models are representations of how objects in a system fit structurally and behave as part of the system. Views are partial expression of the system. Viewpoint is a set of representations, that is views and models. Thus, an architecture framework is a set of viewpoints that should be used in capturing an architecture. So this one will be a good example of what I said till now. So this is basically an entire architecture of the DoD, that is Department of Defense. Okay, so as we can see at the topmost part of this page, there are warfare operations. Okay, like whatever fighter planes are used or whatever submarines or whatever is used as part of the warfare activities, those form a level. So those are obvious part of the, because they have to be controlled by the different operating units. Okay, and apart from that also we can see there are lots of operations that have to be taken care of. There is business units where they have to take care of the accounting, maintenance. Then on the right we see training and development, procurement. On the left we see auditing, budget planning. So it's a huge thing. I mean, Department of Defense is not just pertaining to the warfare items. It has a lot more beyond that. So when everything has to be taken care of, we need a good architectural framework. And that's where this DODA for such similar architecture frameworks come into the picture. Okay, so so previously, as I said, that architecture framework gives us many views. Like there's a system view, there's a technical view. So what are these views? You see, for this particular system, there are different operations, right? So that is an operational perspective. That is, from the viewpoint of an operation, like what are all the operations that need to be present in my system, and also who will perform those operations. Okay, that is the operations perspective. Second is that we will come into the technical part of it. What is there, like what are the functions that have to be performed to implement those operations? Like for every single operation that we see over here, obviously all the software part have to be done, right? So whatever is there, and I mean what the real architecture, what we know, the software part, so those have to be implemented, right? So those comes into the systems part or the services part. We are implementing whatever operations are required. And the third perspective or the third viewpoint is the technical perspective. That is, what are the technical standards that need to be followed? Suppose if I'm using a networking protocol, so what is the networking protocol that I'm using? If I'm using, so there are so many devices over here that are getting operated. So what are the protocols? I mean, what are the what are the operating systems those devices are using? So all such standards are taken care of by the technical standards part. Okay, so this is what was shown in this model. We have an operational view, we have a systems or services view, and we have a technical standards view. Okay, so architectural framework structures the architect's thinking by dividing the architecture into the different views. What are models, views, and viewpoints is done? Okay, so DODAF is a standard architectural framework for defense and aerospace applications. Although DODAF is primarily focused on defense application, it is also used in commercial systems. DOVALD is a multi-viewpoint approach. It has a viewpoint that is grouped into 4 sets: operational view, systems view, and technical standards view, and all views. All views gives us an overall view of the system. That is, what are my expectations from the system, what is the scope of my system, and all these. Okay, operational view, it views in the OV viewpoint set identify what needs to be accomplished and who does it. So as I've already described over here, what are all the operations that need to be performed and who are the persons who will be performing those. So that comes under the operational view. There are different types of operational view products. OV1 is the graphical representation of the system's operations. Okay, so under operational view, we have many views, like I think there are 7 views. So in those views, the data is represented in different ways. And also there are different kinds of data represented. Like this one we are seeing, it is a graphical representation of all the operations. Okay. So a very common, I mean, by now we have become familiar with this, the lunar lander concept. So we can see these are the operations which, I mean, these are the main functions which my system will perform, right? So this is the OV1 representation of my system, OV1. Okay, so this is the graphical representation. And then OV4 is there, which shows a hierarchical relationship among the people involved in the operation. So as I said, that in operational view, there are seven different kinds of views. So the OV1 shows just the main operations and who all are performing those operations, while OV4 shows us all the people or the groups that are going to perform the operations, and that also in a hierarchical structure. Okay, system view. Views in the system view viewpoint said describe the systems that provide support, that provide or support these operational functions. So in the previous slide, we have seen that these are the operations and the operating systems that are part of my overall system, right? Now, what are the basic functionalities that these that are required to support these operations? Like my lunar lander, it has to support process local commands, communicate with the ground. Satellite communication, it will do encoding, decoding part, it will transmit and receive signals. Ground station, it will track telemetry, it will provide feedback. So in system view, we are describing the functions or the, I mean, whatever the services or the functionalities that will actually bring my operations into life. Okay. So system view also, like operations view, it is there of 7 types. Similarly, system view also there are many types. The first one we saw is of SV1. This is an SV3. It is in a matrix form. We can see that what are all the components, okay, and how they are connected. Next is technical systems viewpoint. So as I said earlier, technical systems viewpoint, this gives us, so till now we have seen operations view, which describes the operations and who all are performing those operations. Systems view, it describes the functionalities that are helping those operations take place. Technical systems view, these will set the technical standards, okay, that will implement the systems. So we can see here, for ground station, satellite communication, lunar lander, what is the operating system standard that I'm going to follow? Okay, I'm going to follow a PO6 standard, that is a IEEE standard for helping in the compatibility and for portability of operating systems. So as we can understand, like ground station, satellite communication, lunar lander, all are having maybe they have to communicate only when their operating systems are compatible, right? So what is the standard they will follow? They will follow this POSIX standard. So that will be described by in the technical systems viewpoint. Then what is the data flow network? They will use the XML language. Then physical network, physical layer, they will follow the FDDI protocol. That is a fiber optics data distribution protocol. Okay, so for communicating purpose, networking purpose, they will use this FDDI standard. So this is a very small view, but obviously it's a very large detailed descriptions are there. So in very layman terms, so these are the things that are present in a technical systems viewpoint. All views include high-level overviews of the system and the environment in which the system is to be deployed, and a unified dictionary that defines terms used throughout all the other views. So for this one, I took a different example because lunar lander example was not available. So this is how if you will look for a BCS. BCS is the border and coastline surveillance system. Okay, so for that is also for the United States. So the border control and surveillance system, for them, if they're developing, I mean, whatever software they're using, their AV will look like this: identification, purpose, scope. So as I said, this will give a very high level overview of my system. What is that purpose? What is the scope? Okay, so these come under the all viewpoint. So with this, after this we move on to TOGAF, the Open Group Architecture Framework, TOGAF. TOGAF, while DODAF was mainly developed for the purpose of defense applications, but now obviously it has expanded its usage and now it is used for across industries. TOGAF is used mainly for developing enterprises, I mean enterprise architectures or business architectures. Okay. TOGAF is an enterprise architecture framework that defines business goals and aligns them with the architecture objectives. Okay, so in TOGAF, beyond it is beyond architecture. That is, the business goals are also taken care of, because a company or a business is not just about the software part, right? We have different business goals and objectives in mind. So those things are also taken care of in this architectural framework, and then alignment is done. That is, the business goals are brought in alignment with the architecture implementation. TOGAF consists of three major elements: ADM, that is architecture development method, enterprise continuum, and resource base. Okay, so this diagram will come to this later on. Before that, as we have seen, there are three parts of this TOGAF. First part, Enterprise Continuum, is an architecture repository that provides methods for classifying architectures and solution artifacts. I'll come straight to the example. See, Enterprise Continuum is one thing which has, it's like a repository where we'll have a lot of architectural artifacts. Okay, like for example, telecom industry. So a telecom industry, whatever, I mean, a company says a telecom company, whatever country it belongs to, I mean, whichever country it operates from, or whichever company it is. Okay, we have lots of telecom companies, but whatever company it is or whichever country it operates from, irrespective of everything, it will have some basic operational requirements, and it will follow some basic standards, right? So for such purposes, we need this enterprise continuum. That is, it will have all those architectural solutions that are required, irrespective of the uh, company, or irrespective of the like irrespective of anything. Okay, telecom industry might might follow some standards no matter which operator operates in which country. And the biggest advantage of this is the reusability. If we already have an architectural solution for one company, obviously another company can also implement that. It doesn't need to develop a new architectural solution for that. For example, let's see, a telecom industry has a well-established billing software for its services. So it can use those software solutions. Obviously, there is a well-established billing software. So if I'm a different telecom company, I don't need to go for, I mean, to invent one on my own. Whatever billing software is there, or whatever billing software solution exists, I can go for that, right? So all these solution artifacts, those are present in a repository, we can say. So that repository is called Enterprise Continuum. Okay, so apart from the solution, we also have techniques for classifying architectures. See, enterprise or business, it has lots of domains, right? It can be a telecom industry, it can be some, what do I say? It can be an oil export company. It can be anything, right? So there are different types of industries. So the requirements will be different. What my telecom company, if it is a telecom company, the requirements for architecture will be different from the requirements of any company. Suppose the petroleum company, right? The requirements of my architecture will be different. So I should be able to first classify the architectures, that what kind of domain it is. If it is a telecom industry, if it is a petroleum based products industry, so I have to be first able to classify the architecture, and based on that I will need the architectural solutions. So enterprise continuum is an architecture repository which will have methods for classifying architectures, and also give me solutions for those architectures. Okay. Next is resource base. Resource base is a collection of useful information and resources that can be employed in following the ADM process. So after this, we'll see the architecture development process. So in the architectural development process, we might be requiring different kinds of information, different kinds of resources. So all those are a collection of all such items are present in the resource base. Okay. Next, moving on to ADM, Architecture Development Model. It is an architect. Okay, sorry. There are 4 architecture domains which TOGAF is designed to support. The business architecture defines the this is not I'm not describing the ADM right now. This ADM process takes care of 4 different types of architectures. So that's what I'm describing right now. Okay, there are 4 architecture domains which TOGAF is designed to support. The business architecture defines the business strategy, governance, organization, key business processes. As I said previously, that TOGAF does not take care of only the architectural part. It also takes care of the business part. That is what is my business strategy, what is my business objective, what is this process. So those things come under business architecture part. Okay. Data architecture, it describes the structure of my organization's logical and physical data assets and data management resources. So as we can understand, the physical data, logical data, all those are taken care of under the data architecture part. Application architecture gives a blueprint for the individual application systems to be deployed and their interactions and their relations to the core business processes. So application architecture is basically the blueprint of the applications we want. Okay, like one architecture or one organization's architecture, better to say, it will have a lot of requirements, lot of applications, their interactions, and those have to be aligned with the business objectives. So the application part is taken care of by the application architecture. Technology architecture, it describes the logical software and hardware capabilities that are required to support the deployment of business data. So coming straight to the example, IT infrastructure, middleware, networks, communications, all these are taken care of by the technology architecture part. Now, this is the main, or we can say, it's the heart of the TOGAF system, the architecture framework. So, TOGAF architecture framework, it employs 8 phases, or we can say 8 parts. Phase A, that is architecture vision. It identifies the stakeholders, establishes the scope, constraints, and expectations for the enterprise architecture. So we have to keep in mind that we are not developing any architecture at this point of time. We are just setting the standards or writing down the rules or the best practices for developing an architecture, right? So in phase A, we have to describe all such things that will help us to identify the stakeholders of the business, establish the scope, constraints, and expectations from my architecture. Phase B, that is business architecture, it describes the development of the business architecture. Phase C, information systems architecture, it describes the development of data and application architecture. Phase D, it describes the development of technology architecture, that is technology architecture. Okay. So as we are talking about architecture framework, so we have to keep in mind that we are just describing how to develop the architecture. So these are the different parts of the ADM which will help me to develop my architecture. Okay. Phase E, opportunities and solutions. It describes initial in planning and the identification of deliverables. Phase F, that is migration planning, describes implementation and migration planning. If after I develop the architecture, after I develop the software, how will it be, after I develop the architecture, how it will be implemented, how the migration planning will be done. All such things will be described in this phase. Phase G, implementation governance, ensures that the implementation conforms to the architecture. Phase H establishes the procedures for continual monitoring. That is last phase, architecture change management. Thus, we can see this ADM, it describes the development of architecture, not just the technical part, but also from the starting of the architecture, from the starting of developing of the architecture, how we can align that architecture with my business goals, till the point of time my architecture requires monitoring. So all the phases are taken care of by this TOGAF framework. So the first diagram which I had shown over here, it divides basically into 4 phases. In the first phase, it gets the organization committed and involved in the architectural vision part. Next, we have to set the architecture, right? The business architecture, information systems architecture, technology architecture. After that, we have to make our architecture work. So we will write down all the standards, the practices and protocols, or we have to make use of all the solutions that are present to make the architecture work. And last, we have to keep the process running. For that, we have to use this architecture change management and requirement management. So this TOGAF is mainly about what are all the standards and solutions present, like throughout the development process. At the same time, we have seen an example of telecom company that how we can reuse already existing solution. We should be able to classify what kind of architecture we require, what is the domain in which we are going to develop the architecture, and after that we have to get that proper architectural solution for my architecture. So that was all, sir.
Good presentation by Andrila. This slide number 10 and slide number 11, they are pretty well explained. Not 11, the slide. Go ahead, next. 12, 12. 12 and the other one, TOGAF, the last one, I think. Next, 15. 12 and 15. This is a overall system view. System means right from the identification of stakeholder to the end point of continual monitoring. Okay, so where then, Andrila, where our software architecture comes into the picture?
Sir, mainly in the technical part.
C.
In the technology architecture.
In the technology architecture, okay.
Yeah, and there are different phases. So C, D, and E. Like in this previous one, we had seen B, C, and D. Like information systems architecture, technology architecture. Because we have to take care of
ours is mostly
also.
information systems architecture, right?
Yes,
information systems architecture.
Yeah, the data and the application part are taken care of.
Yeah, information systems architecture. So we plan our model. For example, the UML model, the basic initial one. Slowly other models came up. The UML model, we start with the use case diagram, then the different diagram, then up to the end, the class diagram and component diagram. So then we identify the message passing, the connectors. Then we combine the classes into components. Then we identify how the connectors can be can have the color, callee, port, role, concept. So all those things are in the information systems architecture, right? In the C part.
Yes, sir.
In the C part. So we mostly go for the C part from the information development point of view, right? Okay.
Yes, sir, because we don't we're not much into the business part, so it's mainly regarding the software part.
Yeah. For example, I'm just helping you to remember back your bank consortium software, whatever you have taken a long time to develop in the lab. So in phase A, it identifies who are the stakeholders in the bank, which are the banks who are connected with this type of consortium. What is the scope of this type of software? What are the constraints? What are the expectations of the enterprise architecture? Then B, that's the A part. Then B, describe the development of the business architecture. What type of transactions do they do? What type of transaction, the business transaction in the banks do they do? Then C part, that the information system, our architecture angle, C part. Then D, development of technology architecture. Technology means the deployment diagram, and you start deploying, right? Deployment. we have a chapter of deployment in our architecture, how you deploy the software as well as the hardware, deployment. Then E, initial implementation planning. E part is the least time taken part, that is writing the code. Because nowadays a lot of code generators are available, softwares are available, where writing code is not that big a job. You get the skeleton of the code from the class diagram. From the class diagram, if you give the skeleton to the code generators, then automatically they generate the code. So that takes the least time, the phase E. Describe the implementation and migration planning. Migration means they may be having a software, as we have seen in Windows, different versions. Version 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, now I think 10 is working. So migration, you plan for migration from Windows 7 to Windows 10, you plan for it. If I am changing the version, then what is the problem? What are the other things I should do? So you have to plan for it. Then G is implementation conforms to the architecture. So G, you have to conform, yes, I implemented all the hardware, all the software, and it is working perfect with the software architecture as well as the, it's a verification, it's a ensuring, it's a validation, ensuring, phase G. Then H is continuous monitoring. There is every chance of some extra requirement or some failure or some defect. So how to repair them and how to repair them. Any sort of faults come up, how to repair them and improve any drawback. So this is a TOGAF model being developed in the US Defense, US Department of Defense, DOD, but subsequently is being applied nowadays in all the software developing houses. All the software developing houses, they stick to this procedure, these steps, so that the overall software is a right kind of software, which should not land into any sort of failure in future. You see how systematically they are checking one after another, so that the software should not fail. Okay? Okay, it's a good presentation, Okay, we'll stop here. We have talked a lot. Tomorrow we'll meet again. We have Pratik will talk on retail store. Rekaj will talk on vehicle management. Retail store, I
Sir,
had told her.
in the
Yeah.
presentation. Okay, thank you. Sir, I said I'm
Yeah,
stopping the presentation.
Yeah, you stop it, yeah.
Okay, thanks.
Next class is tomorrow. Tomorrow we have Pratik and we have Rekaj, we have Somu, right? So please follow these TOGAF steps and then proceed systematically to emphasize on the architecture part. Starting from the turbine model or any other style. Why a particular style? For example, in Walmart retail store, they are following a particular style. Why that particular style? As we saw in Skype earlier, they were following a P2P architecture. Now they are changing towards client server. So you have to justify everything, okay? So we'll meet tomorrow, but it's a very, what I find, I have given assignments to some students that day and some students were absent that day. So I have not been able to give assignment. So anybody who has not got the assignment, please send a mail to me. I'll reply back, okay? Who has not got and who is interested to do. And it carries only 40% of the mark in the lab. 40% mark in the lab. lab is the very alluring area where you get good score. So if you are not assigned with some assignment, I think I assigned to Vikas on social network, Jitendra on job portal, in Pratik on retail store, in Subham on airport management, in Rekaj on vehicle management, Nirmal on port management, then Ranveer on Olympic Games, Somu on hotel management, Rishabh, I gave hospital chain management. Then Akshay Kumar, it's a home management, how to keep the home safe. Rahul, I gave stock management. Chandrakant, any library, large library management. Then Shivam Dalmia, I gave. Shivam Dalmia, are you present? Or Shivam Dalmia, are you present or Dalmia is absent? डालमिया की बीमारी छूटती नहीं, डालमिया बीमार है. Okay.
Absent है sir.
Present?
Absent.
Absent. It's remaining physically sick or mentally problem कुछ है उसका कुछ problem है. I was thinking to give a good assignment to him, but I am not finding him. राकेश कुमार मैं आपको दिया, राकेश हो, राकेश बाबू.
Sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, I have given you.
Courier management, sir.
हाँ, courier management आप देखो, FedEx सबसे बड़ी है, FedEx. हाँ देखो, आप चेक करो. अच्छा, then that's all. और किसको नहीं दिया हूँ? These are the things. अगर किसको नहीं दिया हूँ, if you are really interested, you can write. हाँ, yes.
Sir, I'm Siddharth Raudra, sir. Sir, you about LIC, sir.
Oh, I gave you. Okay. You are present that day?
Yes, sir.
Oh, great. Okay.
I was not present, but still the document that Ingolis sir sent, in that my name was there along with the LIC.
I see. Okay. So whoever was not present, I don't remember exactly that day. I think I made a list and passed on to Ingole or something like that. Anybody? Andrila, did I give you anything? Andrila?
Yes, sir.
You are absent that day.
No, sir, I was present that day.
No, you are absent. I have put a red cross here. Have I given anything to you? Like Siddharth was absent. You are also absent.
Yeah, I got Mediclaim.
Mediclaim. What is that Mediclaim?
Sir, it is about medical insurance. Like if we get hospitalized, in that case, we can get our expenses reimbursed from the insuring company. That one, yeah.
Okay. So Asutosh, आप present हो? Asutosh, are you present today?
Yes, sir. Yes,
आपकी
sir,
तबीयत कैसा है? How is your health?
I'm good, sir.
ठीक है. Okay, you are good. Okay, fine. Happy to know. आपकी कुछ मैं assignment दिया था, देखा?
No, sir, I didn't get any assignment. No, sir.
अरे बाबू, ये दोनों एब्सेंट थे, सिद्धार्थ और अंद्रिला. उन लोग को देखने की मौका मिली, आपको पता नहीं चला अभी तक? आपकी इतना अच्छी दोस्त प्रतीक है, कुछ बताया नहीं. I think yours was, I had passed on one message to Ingole or someone else. I don't remember exactly. Long time back. I
Sir,
think it was.
The group, sir. The doc is
it is in the group.
Yes,
Okay.
WhatsApp group. Yes.
WhatsApp group में आप देखो. I think it is international article. हाँ.
I didn't saw my name in that list, sir. I have.
Anyway, admin को पूछो.
I will check it once again, sir.
चेक करो बाबू, ये छोटी सी चीज को मैं क्यों बात करूं? It is, I think, some international air ticket. यहाँ से दिल्ली से आप जाओगे इंटरनेशनल जोन, तो कैसे आप जाओगे? how the booking is being done. यहाँ से आप जाओगे कहीं इंटरनेशनल एरिया कनाडा वैंकूवर जाओगे, वैंकूवर हाउ द बुकिंग इज बीइंग डन, कनेक्टिविटी कैसे आपको होती दी मैनेज की जाती है. Then anybody else? Srilekha, you are sick still, you are suffering. Srilekha.
Sir,
You are physically little bit better and still suffering. You don't have a laptop, only with a mobile you are managing till today.
I sent you mail, sir. Sir, I couldn't speak, but my throat was not that so good.
No, you are still not physically well. How you will manage? The whole semester got over. You didn't learn anything. How you will manage, Silekha? How you will manage? I am very much worried for you. You didn't do anything in the lab. You didn't show me anything. I am also very much worried. I am not giving you any assignment for presentation. You are telling you don't have any laptop. You are managing with a mobile only since the day 1, September 21st. I don't know how you can get a good score in this semester. I doubt very much. I doubt. I don't know. God can help. You are not coming forward to tell me, sir, you gave me. I am physically perfect. You are not telling also. You are keeping quiet. I am calling you. I don't know. Yes?
Sir, I've been responding, sir, but sir, I've been responding, but
Sir,
like I
she
my
gave a message. She's saying that she's having a throat problem, so she's not able to talk to you properly now. I mean, she can't respond properly.
Okay, but you see, since September 21st, and it is December today, is only December 7th. So October, November, so 2 months and 14 days got over. So, and the session is going, people are presenting, some scores I am keeping for the class performance. So how I can help? You cannot all the time depend on the mercy. I always support for any genuine cause, but for 1 class, 2 class, 3 class, okay, but for 2.5 months, no lab, nothing. I don't know, very difficult, Silekha. I don't know. You have a throat problem. Andrila has a throat problem. You have a throat problem. So for 2.5 months, if you say like this, then who can help? Who can help? Tell. And you don't have a laptop as you are telling. I don't know. And what you will show with a mobile, how you can show. If I think I had given an assignment of railway track management. Track management means if you want to allow a new train from Guwahati to Rameshwaram, so how you can allow a new train to run from, you have to do a lot of research. Railway track management, you have to manage the track. When the track is available, then only you can allow a train to run from. It's not a very it's not a very easy assignment. Easy assignment to run from Guwahati to Rameswaram or from Rameswaram to any north, somewhere Chandigarh, somewhere a new train you want to run. So how? You have to see the time slots and allow the train to run during that time slot. So it's hard. A lot of management has to be done. So how you can do? How you can allow a train to run? So that's what I had thought. If you can do something better than this, you are welcome. You can tell me, sir, I can do a better assignment, because this is software architecture is mostly for the, as Andrila showed, it is mostly TOGAF. So for software development, TOGAF is very much helpful. Likewise, in the step 3, we have to consider about the architecture in the present day scenario. Those who are not considering, they are landing in trouble. So our subject helps us to fix up its style. If we fix up the style, we fix up the configuration, then we fix up the connectors, what type of connectors are to be connected between the components. So we have to fix up the connectors, we have to fix up the components. That helps you to bring a good architecture for the proposed software. Okay. So these are the discussions. I have picked up some samples to be discussed till 12th of December. Beyond that, I can't make myself free for this type of thing. We'll close down everything to 12th is a Saturday. We'll close everything on 12th. On 12th, we'll close everything. So these are the very few samples. I have sent a message and hope you all are aware. And we'll have a discussion tomorrow on 8th, then on 10th, then on 12th. That's all. A few application software, very few random samples I take. So if anybody is interested, he can tell me. I can drop one person and push another person. If anybody is interested, sir, I have drawn a very brilliant architecture. Very good work I have done in the meantime. If somebody tells me, I can drop someone, I can push someone for the presentation purpose. So choice is yours. Okay.
Hello,
okay.
sir. Excuse me.
Yes. Tell me.
Sir, means on retail store, how to present means you are saying like DODAF and TOGAF means I'm not getting what. Sir, but I made one presentation, so I want to means.
Okay, you today Andrila showed what are the steps of TOGAF. You think of tonight, you try to plan something. It is nothing new. उसमें कोई nothing new thing is being told by Andrila. All are very commonly considered steps by life cycle approach. Very commonly, but our software developers are so casual, careless, they jump directly to writing code and give it to the client with least testing, because they are hurried to catch the order and grab the money from the client and deliver the half developed software. This is the problem in the global level. So our aim, this study helps to make you careful. As in the case of pandemic, everybody, all cautions, everybody is telling put on a mask, cover your hands with gloves. Why? To be careful. Today, India's death is 1,40,000. Why? Some death could have been avoided by being more careful. So